Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing an important topic from PL Bar SQL. The topic is cursors and exceptions. Understanding these concepts is essential because they help us manage how data is retrieved, processed and handled in a controlled way inside PL Bar programs. By the end of the session, you will have a clear idea about how cursor work, why they are needed and how exceptions ensure that our programs run safely even when the errors occurs. Let's talk about what is cursor. When we execute SQL queries inside the PL bar SQL, Oracle creates something called a context area, and this area stores the result of that SQL query. A cursor is simply a pointer to this memory space. Think of it like a bookmark in a book. It helps us keep tracking of where we are while reading multiple rows of data. In programming terms, a cursor allows us to access and process each row of query result one at a time, especially when a query returns more than one row. This is important because PL bar SQL does not automatically process multiple rows. It needs a cursor to do that. The cursor is generally categorized into two parts: implicit cursor and explicit cursor. The implicit cursor is Oracle automatically create the implicit cursor whenever a SQL statement is executed. For example, if you write a select statement or select into statement that return a single row, or if you run an update or delete statement, the Oracle internally create and manage a cursor for that operation. The programmer does not have to do anything with no declaration or no opening or closing. It is completely handled by the database engine. The implicit cursor are best suited for simple operation where we don't need manual control over the result set. The explicit cursor. The explicit cursor, on the other hand, we are created and managed by the programmer. We use when a query return a multiple row, or we need to process each row individually, or we have to apply some business logic for each fetched record. For example, suppose we want to calculate bonus for the employee based on the performance and salary. Each employee must be processed individually. So this cannot be done using a single SQL statement. So explicit cursor give us a flexibility to loop through every row and handle them one by one. Life cycle of an explicit cursor. To use an explicit cursor correctly, we must follow this step. We have four method in explicit cursor. First of all, you have to declare, then we can open and fetch the data, then finally closing the data. The declare part, we define the cursor in the declaration section of the PL bar SQL block. This tells Oracle which select statement the cursor should be used. Next one, number 2 is open. When we open the cursor, Oracle execute the select statement and stores the result set in the memory. Then the next one is fetch. We then fetch the rows from the cursor on at a time into variables. This step is usually done inside a loop because for multiple rows result we need to repeated fetching. And the last one is close. Once we have processed all rows, we close the cursor to release the memory. If we not close the cursor, it may lead to performance issues or even run out of memory in a large applications. Next one is cursor attributes. PL bar provides 4 special cursor attributes that help understand the state of a cursor. First one is percentage is open. It returns true if the cursor is currently open. This helps us avoid the error of opening an already open cursor. Next one is percentage found. The true if the last fetch return a valid row. This helps us to know that whether we successfully fetch the data or not. Then the next one is percentage not found. If it is true, the last fetch did not return a row. This is commonly used as a condition to exit a loop. Then the last one is percentage row count. It tells us how many rows have been fetched so far. This is useful when we want to monitor progress, such as counting how many records have been processed. Let's compare the implicit and explicit cursor. The implicit cursor works best when your SQL statement affect or return only a single row. Oracle take care of every behind the scene. The explicit cursor, however, are ideal when you have a multiple rows in select queries, complex calculation, or the business rules that vary per record. In need for a more control over the resultant set also. For example, if you are processing a student's mark to determine who passed or failed or need to improve, you must go through each record individually. This is exactly where explicit cursor help. Our next topic is exception handling. So just an introduction to an exception. Exception is nothing but which are errors or unexpected events that occur during the program execution. In PL/bar SQL, exception allows the program to handle these errors gracefully without crashing. The type of exceptions, the majorly we are categorized into two parts. One is system defined exception, another one is user defined exceptions. The system defined exception is these are built-in errors raised automatically by the Oracle. Example, no data found. When select some column or a table, and if there is no data, means the error will be occur. Next one, too many rows. When select a single row, but it return more than one row. Then the next one is zero divide. When the division is divided by the zero. Next one is value error. When data conversion or assignment fail, the value error will be occur. So second one is user defined exceptions. These are created by the programmers for custom validation. For example, if an employee working hours exceeding a limit, or if a student's mark are negative, or we can raise on exceptions. Next one is handling common cursor exceptions. So which is cursor related exceptions. When working with a cursor, certain specific exception may occur. First one is cursor already open. Cursor already open is it raised when we try to open a cursor that is already open. Next one is invalid cursor. It happened when we try to fetch or close a cursor that has not been open or is already closed. Then the third one is no data found. Commonly occurs when a select into select column or select table. It accepts a single row but get none value. Handling these exceptions ensure our program remains reliable and controlled even when unexpected situations occur. The next one is real world example. This example shows a typical PL/bar SQL block using an explicit cursor to fetch employee details inside the loop. Each row is processed individually and then cursor is closed. The exception block ensures that any cursor related errors are caught, even if an error occurs midway. The program checks whether the cursor is still open and close it. This prevents the memory leakage and ensure that the program behaves correctly. Let me conclude the session. I hope this session was helpful to you. Thank you all.